Hey folks, welcome to this video. This is the tutorial on adding power functions to the Horizon Express. This has been requested by a few people. In the instructions that come with the set, it does actually give you instructions on how to add the power functions to one of the units. I will be adding motors to both ends of the train. They will be running off of one battery, so there'll be cabling going through it. One of the motors has already been reversed. If you don't know what I mean by the reverse, then I'll add a card to the video where I did a tutorial on doing that. And yeah, let's get into the actual tutorial. Okay, so here we have one of the units we're just going to put the motor in. Because I'm slightly awkward, I'm going to do it differently to the instructions that come with it, because I want to be able to power the second motor in the end engine off of the battery in here. So there are going to be a few differences. Like I said, if you're just converting one of these, then the instructions are, well, the instructions come with the set itself. First of all, we'll add the lights, if I can find the lights. So I'll make sure that we get these in the right way. On the right side. So they just fit in like so. Put those either side. There are kind of small gaps here each side of the seat, so the cables can go across there. Once those cables are in, put the engineer back in. She can sit there. She keeps the cables in check. Can get her hand up. There we go. And the console can go back in as well. Also, that's pretty much it for this part. So we can put the front together. Now in the instructions, they say to put this middle block on this white square here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it right at the back here, which will be right under the IR receiver once it goes in. That gives me a bit more cable at the back to play with instead of trying to stretch anything out. So that's that part done. The lights are pretty much in. Next step I'm going to do is the motor. So I'll take this front thing off. Well, I'm going to take this off. We don't need this bit anyway. We just need these side pieces here. So it looks nice and pretty. Looks like more of a complete motor. Because we've taken the engine out, there's now a hole at the bottom here. I'll just slide that through. And put the motor in there. That's complete. Oh, there we go. So there we have the motor and the lights coming through there. Try and tidy this up a little bit, so make room for the battery. Okay, so that's the motor and the lights. And next, the IR receiver. Before I put the IR receiver in though, well, actually I'll put the IR receiver and I'll show you why I need to modify something. I need to modify the pantographs in this case, just because of the way I'm doing it, because I'm awkward and I want it to work differently to the way it's designed to. I just need to change these, and I will show you how or why I'm doing it really. So the IR receiver fits in like this on top of here. What I do is I put the lights, and I want everything to run off one channel. So I'm just going to set this to channel 2, and I want everything to run off the blue side of the IR receiver, so I'm only using one sub channel of the channel. This will be the 8th train I'm running in my setup, and because of that I just want everything on one, so I know exactly which train I'm running when I'm doing all the videos. It just helps, makes life easier. So I will put the lights on the blue channel, I'll put the motor on the blue channel, but I'm also going to use this 20 centimeter extension cable, and that's also going to go on the blue channel. Now, because I'm putting so much on one channel, it's coming up fairly high, and the whole thing, you can see that, and the pantograph just won't fit. Now this cable here is going to fit underneath all of this, but I'm going to need to modify the pantograph, just otherwise it sticks up ridiculous height. If you look at that, it's just, yeah, it's not good looking at all. So what I need to do is I just need to modify that a little bit, and I have these pieces. Now I've only got red in these pieces. I'm not entirely sure if they come in dark grey. I will have to find out, because obviously this is going to look a little bit odd having red on the pantograph, but at the moment it's a necessary evil just to be able to reconfigure the train the way I want it to. So pull this out, put this in, pull this off, do that. That's a much smaller pantograph, and it will fit once I get the IR receiver in properly. But like I said, I want this cable running underneath the pantograph because, well, it needs to. It's going to join onto the cabling that goes through all the carriages. So I will fit all this cabling and squeeze it all under here. And when it comes to adding all these things, it's probably the hardest thing I've found. Once you work out what pieces to modify and which bricks to do, it's just getting all the cables to fit without everything popping off again. So in this case I've got all those three extra pieces of the build and the battery. In my case I'm using the rechargeable battery. I'll put all the descriptions and the part numbers in the description down below this video, and normally I get my stuff from the Lego shop online. My local Lego shop stocks all of the power function stuff. I can go in and get lights or motors and rechargeable batteries now as well, so they do a good job of stocking that. But all of this fits in there now, all the cabling goes under there, and I've got this cable coming out of the back for the cabling that's going to go to what is the back of the train and power that second motor. So if I put this in like that, that goes in there. You see the pantograph doesn't stick up as much. It's not great looking, but I reckon I can get away with it. It doesn't look too obvious. If I can find these in dark grey, or yeah, dark grey would be ideal, then that would be best. But you can see, well, the IR receiver there, this is all sticking up. But well, the way I want it to work, I think that's what I'm going to have to live with. And there we have the power function train. In order to get to the power switch we need to go to there, but if we have a we've got the controller here and we're on blue, we can see that's working fine. Also, if we look at the front, the light's working fine as well. So far so good. Turn it off for now, put that back in. There we go. So next step is adding it all to the carriages, so we can carry the power from this battery all the way to the back of the train. So moving on to the carriages, if we take these moves off like so, this cable needs to fit onto the bottom of one of these carriages. So it's the light grey one that fits on the bottom. The dark grey one is the connector that goes onto the actual electrics. So if we slide this in, it's going to be a bit difficult to see. I'll show you. If we do this, I'm just going to attach it next to some of these seats, so it'll just sit like that, and that's the 20cm connection. There's plenty of give there in between the engine and the carriage here, but that's it connected. I'll sort out the cabling later just to tidy things up. That's the main piece there. Then at the other end, well, here's the 50cm cable. I'll feed this in between the two carriages here. Try not to destroy it too much, but it's going to happen, isn't it? So that dark grey fits on the light grey here. Oh, I think it's got to go through there. And the 50cm cable has plenty of room to fit all the way along. We've got the light grey brick here. So what I think I'll do is put that down there like so. Put these pieces back on like that. And we have power running to the first half of the train. Put that roof on there. Won't put this one on yet because I need to work out exactly how I'm going to join the third and fourth train carriage. Now the one downside with this is obviously if you want to take the train apart, you've got to uncable things and everything, but I'd rather have that problem than have two battery boxes at each side end of the train and have to try and coordinate starting two motors at the same time, because they don't run at the same speed, and it just causes issues. So what I think I'll do is I'll join these with a little 20cm cable in between, feed that through like that. Oh, there we go. So we've got this. Still got plenty of give in the middle. You've got to make sure that these aren't too tight, because if it goes around a corner and it's not got enough cable to allow it to turn, then it will do funny things and you end up having derailings. I've had that a lot with my passenger train before I perfected it, so that's one thing to look out for. There we go. Put that in like so. Oh, I've loaded the coffee machine. Can't do that. That'll be terrible. Right, and we've got another 50cm cable here. So we'll join this on here, like so. And this will run the length of this. I must have built these carriages better, because these parts aren't falling apart like the other one. He says, oh no, yeah, I thought they were going to come apart as soon as I said that, but no, they're not. So there we go, that's the cabling running through, and I'll just put this, put it that way around. Just need to watch I don't push the end of the train off the table, because that would be bad. So let's have a look. I want it to fit, I'd rather have it that way, so let's fit it this way. So that's another 50cm cable running through the second half of the train, and a 20cm cable joining both ends of the train. So now I've done this and we know we can get power all the way to the back, let's look at the other end of the train. Okay, so here we have the other end of the train, which I'm going to add the motor. This has been modified, this has been reversed, so the cables on the motor have been switched. Like I said, there's a card in the description, and I'll put a link in the description down below so you know what I've done to this motor in order to get it to run the opposite direction. Otherwise, if I said to the train, okay, I want you to go one way, the front motor would be going one way and the rear motor would be going another way. So I had to modify this one. And that's why I had to do that. So we'll go through the process again of this. But this time I don't need to, I'm not going to add a battery box, I'm not going to add an IR receiver, I don't need that. And I don't need to modify this, I can just run the cable all the way through. But I will need to take this out just due to the fact that I need the cable to run through as well. So this needs to be removed. So I've got the two engines removed from the train, but we'll take this. So there we have those pieces back on the train, so it looks nice and pretty. Oh, I need to do lights as well, don't I? Well, so add the motor first. Now this end of the train, I have added red bricks. Everyone will be happy to know. So there is a front and a back of this train. When I'm running the big train track setup, sometimes I run them backwards and forwards though, so I don't know how long this will last, but I guess it's slightly easier to change these than the high-speed passenger train, because you have to take off the front and modify things and everything like that. But this one has got a front and it has got a back, so it will show up as red lights once the lights are added. So everyone can cheer, yay! Because I know that bugs a lot of people. So, but it's just me basically being lazy, because I don't want to have to take a train apart every time I want it to change direction. Well, I suppose the Horizon Express is worth the effort, isn't it? Because it's a good looking engine. So we have more lights here. If I add this in the same way we did the other ones, I'll put these at the front now. As per the instructions, we can just have the back square go over the white bit there, and I'll run these lights to these pieces. Now I don't think I'm going to use a 50cm for this. I'm going to use one of the 20cm cables. So we'll put the motor on here, we'll put the lights on here as well. I need to take this off just to get the cabling through. I'll take the pantograph off as well. And now we've got a clear run all the way through to this hole here. Keep this reversed, I think, like so. We just put all these connections down where the battery would ordinarily go if this was a standalone engine, but this gives enough cable at the back just to sneak it through the back there, and this will join onto the cable in the what is it, carriage 4. So here we go. Cool. So we've done that, and now we need to add the other carriage. So this is the moment of truth, I suppose, kind of. Here is our cable that connects the motor through. We'll take this off as well. This is where the doors. So there's the grey connector that goes all the way to the front, to the main battery box. If we connect that to that now, that gives plenty of give. The cables probably will be visible through the windows. There will be ways I can modify that. We can always put extra bricks in just across there, just so it doesn't go too high. But at the moment, this is just, I just want to get the cabling done, and that's it. Tidying things up later. Well, we'll do it later if we need to, if it's showing as that obvious. So there we go, it's all connected, it's all cabled up, everything's motored, we've got lights in and everything like that. So let's have a look and see if it works. Okay, so here's the completed train, all set up on the track. It's not a full circuit, but we just turn the battery on. So there we have it. Got it on channel 2, the blue channel, and we'll get it going in the right direction. So we've got the lights on here, and that's running nicely. Both motors are running together. There you go, that's my version of adding power functions to the Horizon Express. Slightly different to the instructions in the manual, just because I've used one battery for 2 motors, 2 sets of lights. Everything runs off the one battery. Everything's running, both motors are running at the same speed on the same channel. There's no kind of trying to figure out how to get both dials doing at the same thing. If you ever try to run a train with 2 motors running on 2 different IR controllers, you'll know what I mean. It's all a bit fidgety and they never run at the same speed. So this is my solution. There may be other ones out there. I'm not saying this is the be all and end all of how to add it, but yeah, this is my version. If you've enjoyed this or you found it useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you in the next one. Bye.